The Pikmin series is one of my favorite series of all time. If you aren't familiar, Pikmin is a real-time strategy game where you grow an army of living vegetables, called Pikmin, to defeat monsters and collect ship parts, or treasure, or food, depending on the game. The game breaks up time into days. If you don't collect enough before the days run out, you lose. The first Pikmin game came out over 20 years ago, and in my opinion, it's still great. If I had a top 10 tier list, Pikmin would be there somewhere. Particularly, it did a great job at coaxing the player to multitask effectively, as well as lead the players to new resources to aid them in their journey, thanks to its incredible level design. Let's take a look at how it does it. Let's start in the first area, the impact site, aptly named because all the more crash lands here. This counts as the first day. There is no timer yet, so there's no need to rush. Eventually, you'll stumble across the Pikmin's home, the onion, and go through the tutorial, where you'll learn to toss Pikmin at flower pellets to make more Pikmin. This is where you encounter your first obstacle, the ferocious cardboard box. It needs 10 dudes, so the player must explore their surroundings for more pellets. The game incentivizes exploration by placing a pellet all the way up here. After some intense cardboard pushing, you come across Olimar's last hope, the engine. You can't pick this up yet, so the only thing to do is explore the rest of the area. Here's where the game teaches you some simple multitasking. You could grab a single pellet, walk it back, wait for it to sprout, pluck it, and then repeat until you die of thirst. Instead, most players will have the Pikmin do everything at once. The lesson is learned. Splitting up your task force to do many things is good, quick, and simple. You also notice a stone gate farther up that you can't do anything about, which is indicated by the sound of Pikmin giving up. Once you've finished your plucking and recovered the engine, the game transitions to the next day, unlocking the new region, called the Forest of Hope. This is where the game demonstrates some really cool level design. Upon landing, you'll notice that you're trapped in your base. Great landing spot, Olimar. On one side, you're greeted with another stone gate, which has already established itself to be unpassable. There are a couple of flower pellets, and the introduction of grass, which has a chance to drop nectar, blooming your Pikmin into faster flowers, though it's possible to miss it. Lastly, there's the bramble gate. Unlike the stone gate, your Pikmin can interact with it. The player must slowly break down this gate to progress. During this time, you can contemplate your mortality, as well as realize that time is a thing now in this game. You can also survey the surroundings of things to come. Breaking down the gate opens up a huge part of the level. You now have multiple paths to pick from, but you'll most likely approach the closest thing to you, the Dwarf Bulborb, your first enemy encounter in the game. These guys are the Goomba of Pikmin, and are very forgiving enemies. They can only eat one Pikmin at a time, and take roughly 2 seconds to kill them. If you defeat the Bulborb before it's done chewing, the Pikmin survives. Also, if you toss a Pikmin directly on top of it, you'll one-hit KO it, which you're very likely to discover since the Pikmin toss is the main mechanic of this game. After your first taste of blood, you'll probably continue your carnage and clear everything else in your wake. At this point, there are 2 points of interest that may catch your eye. One is the log by the water, which reveals itself to be an unbuilt bridge. Reaching this island only rewards you with a few pellets and a dead end. The other point of interest is this red 5 pellet on this ledge. There's something very peculiar about this pellet, which I'll come back to in a moment. To the right of the campsite is a wide open area. You can see what is most players' first ship part here, with the only real obstacles being some dwarf bulborbs. The player would most likely take the 10 pellet, Kill and take the dwarf Bulborbs and carry the port all at once, while avoiding this giant sleeping monster.
Huh?
Fun fact, this guy has a different official name in Pikmin 1, 2, and 3. During this time you may notice this can filled with rocks. They appear to be completely non-interactable, so you move on. Once the army has grown and reassembled, is it time to strike the Bulborb. The Bulborb only awakens if contact is made. You can safely ignore it if you want, but your lust for power won't. Since it looks similar to its dwarf version, the player can assume the same weakness. Its huge open back is just begging for attention. Unlike the little version, the big guy can eat up to 3 Pikmin at a time, and the chewing is much faster. But if you're tossing Pikmin from behind and just spam the Pikmin toss, in most cases, the player can finish it off without any losses. As you collect your reward, the second Bramble Gate re-enters the mine. You don't want to just sit there and wait like before, so while you follow one group to sprout more reds, you leave behind the other group to knock down the gate. Bramble Gates don't exist to waste your time, they exist to give you opportunities to save time through multitasking. Once the gate's down and the corpse is consumed, the player will continue their exploration. This room's exits are all blocked off by stone gates, so there's very little to actually explore. This is where the player encounters yellow Pikmin. There's some grass up on this ledge that only yellow Pikmin can reach, demonstrating the differences from the reds. Now even more of these useless rocks are suspiciously scattered in front of this stone wall. Out of curiosity, the player will try to interact with the rocks with the newly acquired yellows. Explosive rocks conveniently right outside of a stone wall? Well, don't mind if I do. And right in plain view of this broken wall is another ship part, the radar, which actually lets you see where the other parts are in a menu. Now you have the knowledge to explore the majority of the level. You can tell the game wants you to prioritize this stone wall over the other one, since it's closer to the yellow onion and is the one with the bomb rocks conveniently next to. Now I want to pause for a second and go back to this spot here. On the left is a ramp submerged in water, giving Olimar the ability to climb up this ledge. Your current Pikmin would drown if they go in water, but you can easily bypass the water obstacle just by tossing Pikmin up here and then walking through. Now you can fight another Bulborb and collect another part. In fact, you can travel even farther and fall off this ledge here, giving you early access to the other half of the level. However, if you do this before you encounter the bomb-wielding yellows, you'll find yourself trapped here. There are no ways to make your way back to the base, and Pikmin carrying stuff will get stuck waiting behind a stone gate. You have to either reset or prematurely end your day to get yourself out of this. Is this bad level design since you can get stuck? Personally, I don't think so. And it's thanks to these objects here. You may ask, why is there a water obstacle if you can just casually ignoring it by tossing Pikmin on the ledge? Because that's not the apparent purpose of the ledge. Its purpose is to hold the 5 red pellet for you to collect. After you get it, you're out of here. The water deters you to bring Pikmin with you up the ramp, and the pellet deters you to leave Pikmin on the ledge afterwards. Either way, a new player will feel inclined to head over to the Bramble Gate where the yellow Pikmin are. Without actively blocking your way or forcing you on a linear path, the game still manages to lead you to the resources to open up the rest of the level, and that's cool. Did I correctly guess the pathway of anyone's first Pikmin playthrough? Comment how close I was, I'm curious. I recently watched a friend play Pikmin for the first time, and he didn't even consider tossing reds on the ledge. In fact, he waited until he got blue Pikmin. Pikmin's such a fun and challenging series, and I think the level design of Pikmin is dope. It encourages the player and their Pikmin to be always doing something, without explicitly stating it. If you haven't tried the Pikmin series yet, definitely give it a shot. And if you like this kind of video, like and subscribe. I plan to make more videos like this. Thanks for watching.
Ow! Ow! You! Ow! What the hell is wrong with you?